Hello, and welcome back to the Spud Space Agency. So my plan for today is to finish mopping up contracts around Kerbin so that hopefully I can start getting ones for more exciting stuff by, going to Juna, which would be awesome. First things first, let's add a docking port onto this, sad as it is, so that when I launch this to the Mün, because I've got a contract to do a Mün mission, then that one won't fail, hopefully. Secondly, let's save this as something else. I'm just going to create a ship to bring people back from Minmus. And in doing that, I'm also hopefully going to complete the one I failed at before. So we're just going to take the hitchhiker storage. I'm going to take that. We're going to do a very similar craft to the other one because it did work well. I guess the main difference with this one is that technically it's supposed to return from Minmus. So because we're in theory going to try and get this one back, let's add in the coupler there and a heat shield and whack some parachutes on it as well. I can get rid of these. I don't actually care about any form of science. What I might also do, just help us out a little bit more, is have a slightly larger fuel tank there. Oh, we're overweight, but I've got enough money, so before we launch this, I'll go out and upgrade the launch pad. And in fact, with this as well, if I'm going to do that, I might just whack on some more powerful boosters here as well. Cool, so we've got the upgraded landing pad, so we don't need to worry about the mass. Okay, hopefully we should be good with this. Let's make sure that we have 5 Kerbols on board. Might as well add all the guys that I've got, get them leveled up to level 2 if this is going to go land on Minmus, which should do for them. Got enough electric charge because I obviously realised that that was down there far too late last time. Got the docking port. Let's head to the launch pad. Okay, here we are, and this is actually ticked. Fantastic. If only I'd have realised that last time. Oh dear. Live and learn, I guess. Let's hope that this can also get over to Minmus. Not exactly the best descent profile there, but well. We're already well into an orbit trajectory, so let's just burn outwards, I guess. Why was that so zoomed out? Cool, well that was a fairly terrible ascent, but we're up here, I guess. I've just realised that I only put heat shields on the top part of this craft, but I've got Kerbols in the whole thing. So, I've no idea how I'm going to get half of them back. I guess we'll come to that problem when we get to it. Why do we always launch to Minmus when the Mün is, right in our way? I do it every time. Okay, so we've got an encounter. It's a fairly poor one, but what's new? Let's focus on Minmus and just get it somewhat usable. That'll do nicely. Oh, it's done that thing again! I don't understand what happens then. Oh, hello. So, apparently we're going to slam straight into the surface of Minmus. I mean, thankfully, with Minmus's gravity so low, it doesn't actually matter too much that we're gonna slam straight into the surface of the planet. There we go. Hooray! We landed on Minmus. A little sooner than expected, but we're here. And we've got more than enough fuel to get back. Does this count as it did, as I at least did the mission that I actually did last time? So bonus there, I guess. Well, I think it's only fair that Jeb gets to do a spacewalk at the very least. Minmus Base 2 landing, and we did it this time! I guess let's try to get this guy back. Because I need to get this thing to actually orbit back around Kerbin. What I should have done is put this heat shield here and maybe decoupled these off, and then I could have just landed this whole thing. But unfortunately, this can't go back into the atmosphere, so I can only take 3 Kerbols back. So this could do with orbiting around, so that we can then send someone back up to rescue them at another point. Okay, so we can get that fairly low fairly easily. So actually, yeah, this should be fine. Right, so we've got a close orbit around Kerbin. What I'm going to try doing is, if I drop a quick save just in case this doesn't work, let's bring our apoapsis right down, separate off the top stage, and then we can switch back to this stage. Damn. So I was hoping that because there were pilots on here, this would count. Well, in which case, let's reload that, since I'm not really going to easily be able to get these guys off. Okay, we've got a quick save. Let's try something else. So this part is now safe where it is. If I do this, I know that pushing can be a valid tactic sometimes. So let's give this a go. That did actually get us into the atmosphere. So we are in the atmosphere. Go on, where we are? 33. Okay, that's really not too bad. I can't believe that worked. Well, that's it. We're back in the atmosphere. And there's all our parachutes. And there we go. Well, that took a lot longer than I wanted to. That was hopefully only supposed to be a short, quick thing to send up. But I guess I've done it. I've now got another craft to go and rescue in orbit. Cool, I'm just going to very quickly build up some form of craft to recover people. So we've just got a main sail with a big rocket, a mid-stage with medium, and then a poodle up there. Hopefully that's enough fuel. We went a little bit the wrong direction. At that rate, I think it's probably actually better to just go standard into orbit, and then I can adjust it afterwards. There it is. Lovely. And there we go. So let's just double check that this thing's empty, which it is. And here we are heading back into the atmosphere. And there we go. Lovely. So what should have been a quick 40-minute thing has taken an hour and 40 minutes because that's what I do here at Spud Space Agency. Okay, so now that we've got that, I am trying to debate between, do I do this one to send 2 craft to orbit the Mün and then dock them? Because unfortunately this is orbiting the Mün, but there's no guarantee that it has a docking port on it, which is kind of annoying because I do need to dock 2 things. Claw. Let's see how far off getting the claw is, because if so, I can just grab onto that then. Unlikely, but we'll see. Or do I send a surface outpost to the Mün? Either way, let's first off, let's check on our surface base. Here we are. It's all functioning well still. We've got all of our Kerbols up here. What is the science like? Oh, wow, we've got 400 science. That's incredible. Let's transmit that science, I guess. Amazing. So that's a bunch of science gained from there. Leave this thing generating a bit more science. Okay, let's have a quick nosy at what things we can unlock. So it might be worth grabbing this to get the claw, because then maybe instead of properly docking, I can just grab the other craft and then I don't need to launch up two things. I can send up one craft with a claw and a docking port, and then I can crash into the other guy that's stuck orbiting the Mün, and then if that counts, sweet, it's done. And if it doesn't, I can send up another ship that's got a docking port on at least and dock the two ships anyway. So it's not the end of the world. At some point, I do want to start building planes because I do really enjoy making planes in this, but they don't serve too much purpose at the moment, I think. I mean, we definitely want this for going into planetary. It makes things so much easier. So in fact, I might just unlock that now. That way I've got it. Let's grab advanced flight control as well. That's probably useful. I think we'll leave that for there. Give ourselves some science in case there's things that we actually need to get for ourselves. Let's hire some Kerbols to send to the Mün for a long-term mission. So we'll grab that. Cool, so we've got our surface base. Did I? I did add on the docking port. You know what? I've changed my mind. I am gonna unlock this stuff. That way I've got a couple more science modules that I can throw on, and a bit more. Whoa. Throw on a big boy antenna. Why not? Let's see if we can get this to... Ooh, wait. Need a bit more electric charge. I don't actually think that it was necessary for this, but you know what? It's useful to have. Let's sort out our crew and give this a launch. Okay, so here we are. Let's just get going. I was about to start turning us over a bit more like the last one, but that was a lot more stable than this is. That said, we're already high enough, so... Well, that was a fairly terrible ascent. We're still even in atmosphere on this side, but we're escaping, so we'll still have a orbit at the end of it, at least. God, getting an intersect with the Mün is so much nicer than Minmus. Just realised that I forgot to check that all of these were ticked before taking off. Thankfully they are. Lovely, that's a rather nice orbit that we've managed to get over the Mün. Where do we want to land? Do we want to try and land in a crater? I think we should land in a crater. And then I imagine we kind of want to start slowing down on the edge of the crater. So now. Just remember that the magnometer report can't be done when you're landed, so let's just do that now. There we go. A little bit rougher than probably intended, but nice and landed. And there we go. That's a Mün Outpost done. Sweet. Let's also send someone out. Plant a flag. Cool. Well, we can leave these guys here for the time being. Right, let's do new craft and grab Mark III command pod. Definitely want to throw on an advanced grabbing unit. A little bit ridiculous in size. Throw on a mini docking port as well, just on the off chance that it doesn't work. Basically building the same as what I launched to go rescue those other guys, but I just might add a little bit more fuel in the bottom stage, just to make sure we've got a lot to get over to the Mün. But like, I had 2,000 Delta V left in that sort of top stage. Well, oh no, actually. No, I only had 700 come to the end of it, so it's not quite as much. That's still probably enough, but if I can add a little bit more fuel, I'll just be a bit safer. Okay, so I am well aware that this is way overkill. But I think it's kind of funny. I kind of want to just build just a ridiculous rocket considering this is just to orbit the Mun. Doesn't even have to do much. Hopefully it works. I don't see why it shouldn't. Let's go. I just double-checked it as well. Okay, now this is even more overkill now that I've actually staged it properly. Oh dear. Okay, so I've just moved these boosters down a little bit, so hopefully they don't destroy the rest of my aircraft when I decouple them. There we go. Cool, so in orbit with way more than enough fuel than we need. Which is probably, you know, not exactly very efficient for career mode, but it's fun. I wanted to build a massive rocket. I can then also use this for, well, I guess it only really is going to help for missions in Kerbin because it's probably not got enough fuel to transfer to other planets. Cool, so we're in orbit around the Mun. Let's select Genly's Heap as our target. Just a little correction just to keep our inclination the same. Fortunately, we're a little bit too close, so we're probably going to want to do the opposite, and we're going to have to go like all the way around it. Uses a fair bit of fuel. I say a fair bit of fuel. It's still not even going to get rid of our supposedly transfer stage. It wasn't even really meant to be a transfer stage. It was supposed to be an orbit stage. Okay, let's get rid of this big bulky stage now, since we really don't need it anymore. And as usual, let's just point towards our target and bring this intersection nice and close. God, we are very close to the Mun here. Kind of spooky. There we are. Right, I guess let's arm the claw and see whether this works. It did, and it counted. That's amazing. Oh, and I don't even have to spacewalk. That's so cool. I've never used this before. That's awesome. Toss that away. That'll do nicely. And only 3,500 Delta V left. I'm fairly certain this has got enough Delta V to head over to, at the very least, Juna, if not most other places in fact, I'm almost certain I could get to any other planet with this. I don't think I could get back, but I think I've got enough Delta V to get there at least. That's mental. Of course, we're landing at night. Probably should have thought ahead with that, but oh well. It's a shame we're not going to land on any land, and we're going to land in the water, because looking at the amount of Delta V I have left, it seems like I'd be able to do like a SpaceX-style landing, not using parachutes, which is cool. Although this engine may not be powerful enough. Nope. Well, I'm glad I didn't keep trying that. And there we go. Sweet. So that's Genly rescued. That's docking in orbit of the Mun done. Once again, we've got a mission to do this just around Minmus. Well, with our next one to go back to Minmus and basically do the same thing we've just done with the Mun, but around Minmus. We've not got any missions, unfortunately, to recover anyone from orbit around Minmus. So I might just send us over and dock with the satellite that we've already got around Minmus, and then we'll see what the game gives us from there. I presume it will be land on Minmus, finally, even though we've already done it twice now, but well. Anyway, I'm going to call that there for today. Thanks very much for watching, guys, and hopefully see you next time.